everybody, to the Entrepreneur Dojo. This is Dave Espino and James Reneff. And today we're going to be talking about a way to get traffic to your offers, to your products, to your website, to your funnels with solo ads. Now, James has some experience with solo ads, so I want to see, kind of grill him and ask him some questions on how those solo ads work. So yeah, take it away, James. Tell us a little bit about solo ads and what they are.
Yeah, I think kind of the lifeblood of any business, or specifically if you're in the internet marketing niche, is getting traffic. And if you can control paid traffic, you have something special. When you can hopefully put $1 in and get $2 out, then you really hit on something. And one traffic source that people may or may not be aware of is what's called solo ads. So there's people out there that you can pay, that you pay per click, and they'll set it to your offer. And there's a lot of traffic being done with this. I've tested it, and there's a lot of potential with it. So there's these people that are doing different things. They may be paying for ads on Google. They may be building their lists in a whole bunch of different ways, but they're really making their money by, again, sending clicks, sending people to your offers, and you're paying them for that. And then now there's kind of some loose networks. And it's funny, one of the networks is very similar name to a network you use. The network is called Udemy. Okay. But not, and I say it wrong, but it's Udemy, or it's spelled UDIMI. UDIMI, whereas you're very well versed, Dave, in UDEMY, the site where you can put courses up. So right. It's called Udemy, not Udemy, or you know what I'm saying? I've spelled that. Yeah. But that is one platform of many that you can go on that people will have reviews, and they'll say, look, okay, if you want 100 clicks, it's X, and there's reviews there. You can also go onto Facebook, and there's different Facebook groups that people are in where they're sharing, okay, I bought X amount of clicks off this person and I got some sales, or I didn't like the traffic. They're giving reviews. And so that's the thing with these solo vendors. A lot of that is you want to see those reviews that it worked. Now, typically what you want with a solo when they're sending it to you is not just to send to a sales page. You could do that, but I would recommend that you have a squeeze page where you're collecting leads, and then as soon as they opt into the lead, you're showing them your sales page or what have you. But collect those leads to then work those people. I think that's a big thing. Don't just send it to a sales page. But the point is that this is a traffic source where there are millions of clicks happening daily, because Dave, you know this yourself, like how important an email list is. It's arguably the most important thing for marketing. These people, their whole business model is sending clicks from their list to you, and so on. Does that make sense? I know you know that, Dave. I just wanted to put it out there.
Yeah, I've actually I played around a little bit with Udemy. That's what I call it, because it's IMI, just to differentiate it. I played a little bit with it, and I've gotten opt-ins from it, and just never really got deep into solo ads, because I always felt like my own opt-ins that I would create myself could be better quality, maybe. Can we talk a little bit about how do you determine a good solo ad seller, and how do you determine a good list that you want to, build your list from?
Well, yeah, I mean, ultimately it takes testing and maybe starting off slow. And first of all, do you have an offer that converts? So I wouldn't recommend paying for traffic to an offer that you've never converted before.
You're just testing.
Yeah. And so it depends what your goals are. Your goals may be to build a list. Maybe that's your goal. So therefore have a squeeze page, and you may not necessarily have an offer to monetize right off the bat, although that would be preferred. But if you have an offer that's a proven winner, it's something to think about. So to get a solo ad, and again, it's still kind of a loose knit network. So you get in there and you see what other people are saying, and like, oh, this person's top notch. Okay, well, let's work with them and see how it goes. Now, you don't want to just day one spend $1 million and test it out. You want to start off small. Maybe it's $50, and did I get opt-ins and so on. But a lot of these players, they have lists. I know one guy has a list of 4 million people. That's his email. Wow. 4 million people. And it cost him like $30,000-$40,000 a month just in autoresponder fees. I mean, these are the kind of levels some of these
Wow.
people are on. So it's a big thing. It's not, again, depending on who's listening to this, they may have never even heard of this as a traffic source. And there's huge things going on right now in the solo world. I've known about solos for a long time, and I got in and got out, but I recently got back into it and seeing some success. So it's definitely a valid traffic source to check out. And again, it's a source where clicks are going through to the tune of millions a day, and it's one way that potentially you can scale, especially if you're like, well, I don't want to maybe be on Facebook, or I don't want to be on YouTube. Maybe you do. This is another alternative, and that's why we're bringing it here and discussing it with Entrepreneur Dojos, because that's what we talk about: different ways to get traffic, different ways to do things online. And this may or may not resonate with you, but we wanted to mention it.
Yeah, totally. This makes me think of the LinkedIn ads product that we came out with about a month or two ago, where we're creating our own list, but we're borrowing LinkedIn's email service, I guess you could say.
Right.
We're using LinkedIn's email service to reach targeted people, and then those people are coming over, into our funnels. And so in a way, it kind of reminded me of that. Like the LinkedIn strategy was, hey, we can borrow LinkedIn's list. And just in a similar way with solo ads, we're borrowing somebody else's email list or running an ad to their list, obviously. And, the way that solo ads originated, I think, I remember learning from Corey Rudel that he would pay people who had email lists to run an ad in the header of the email. This is when emails were very formatted, and some still are, right? But to run an ad in the header or in the footer, and you would pay less if it ran in the footer than if it ran in the header. And that's still a very, very viable thing. So I kind of think it would be a good idea, James, to, like, if you're already subscribing to newsletters in your particular topic or in your particular niche, why not reach out to those people and say, hey, can I run an ad in your email to your email list in one of your emails? And the reason it was originally called solo ads, because it was just your ad to their email list.
Right.
But if you had like a little thing and you just said, hey, can I be a sponsor of your email list or your email newsletter? And it kind of makes me wonder if maybe that would be a better strategy to get a higher quality of people in who have not been bombarded by a bunch of different offers, that kind of thing. I feel like that's one concern I would have with solo ads is, all right, are these people being hit? The same people I'm going to advertise to, are they being hit from all different angles? And some people are okay with that.
They definitely are. They definitely are.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it comes down to testing. And I mean, ultimately, again, we've kind of mentioned this before, is that in the end, it's about getting in front of people and different ways to do it. And that could be Facebook, it could be YouTube, could be Instagram, and the list goes on and on. And this is another source, but I can tell you that sometimes there's trepidation to that, and they say, and you have a valid point, like, is this person on 20 people's lists? Maybe. But I know some people that are kicking butt with it in a major way, to the tune of another guy. I mentioned the guy with 4 million people on his list. Another guy I know did not make products. He was solely an affiliate. And what he did was he just built his list by buying. This is what his exact strategy was. He bought solos. He bought emails to opt into his list, and he pushed them immediately to another product. And that product that he pushed them to paid for his solo, so on and so forth. To the tune of, he sold over 3,000 products just for one other person. And he has a list now of over 20,000 people, and he just started like a year ago from nothing. So I wouldn't just write it off. Now, I'm not saying it's the best strategy ever, but it is. And I mean, in other words, I'm not saying it's the best strategy ever, but it is a strategy that for some people is working.
Yeah.
And again, if you can work it, now you might spend money on a solo and you spent $100 and it was a waste. Nothing happened. No one opted in. I hope that wouldn't happen. But what if you do have it where they're opting in and you're making money, or maybe it's you're doing an affiliate thing and you do to one product and then your next email is to another product, but your numbers start to work that you say, oh gosh, I paid $100, I made 120, let me do it again. And now I'm building my list, and all of a sudden you have 5,000 people on your list. It's a way to potentially continue to grow your list, and hopefully you monetize it and you can build your list that way.
Yeah, I'm wondering if there's even CPA offers, for example, that don't require a whole lot from the person that can be used to monetize solo ads like that. Do you know if
Yeah,
people use that
absolutely.
with CPA offers also?
You can. I mean, you with email submits and other things, or sometimes like when you're looking at CPA offers, they'll tell you the forms of traffic that you can use to promote, and one of those very well can be email. So yeah, absolutely it can.
Yeah, I really like that idea of self-liquidating on the front end and having your monetization pay for the ad right off the bat, and after that it's all gravy.
Yeah, if you can get that to work, and then you can play around with things. It doesn't have to be a low ticket offer, it could be going to high ticket. Ultimately it comes down to testing, but if people are new, sometimes they don't want, they're not willing, or they don't have the means to test, and they want to, they really want to get things going right off the bat, and that may be something that they should focus on free strategies until you get your feet wet and start making some money. But in terms of scaling a winner, how do you do that? Well, this is one strategy.
Yeah.
So it's there. It's, when I first heard about it years ago, I don't know, I thought I just didn't give it the credit that I should. And it hasn't gone away, and people keep paying that money, not because they're stupid, but for some people it works. So therefore they go and go and go. But it's like anything, when it's a loose knit kind of community, there's some better players than others, and it takes kind of diving into to understand who you should work with, and so on.
Right. Yeah.
Now, yeah, and just FYI, we did, I did a solo, and with our opt-in and using another strategy where we were collecting emails a different way, we were getting like 75% opt-ins. This was not too long ago, and that's pretty much unheard of. I mean, if you can get a 50% opt-in from a solo, I think that's pretty strong, or just in general to a squeeze page. But there are real people looking at these emails, and there are real people buying from it. So I've tested it myself. It works. But ultimately it comes down to your offer and so on.
Yeah. What would you say are some of the key things that help make a solo ad campaign work? What are the main things that you'd be looking for to make sure that it works out of the gate?
Well, number one, were they vouched somehow? Did I go to, say, a Facebook group and see all these people saying this vendor is solid and so on? Number two, do you have a squeeze page that you've already seen is converting at a high rate? You don't necessarily, I mean, you could test a squeeze page for the first time with solo ads, and I've done that before. But if you kind of knew your numbers, that, okay, if X amount of people hit this, I get X subscribe or opt-in rate, then you would hope for similar performance from that. So when you have your squeeze page, you don't want too much on there. I mean, your goal is to get people to opt in. So maybe it's a video with just an opt-in. Don't have all kinds of stuff on your page, or it's not clear the action that you want people to do. So that's a problem some people have, is like it's a little sign up button or whatever. It's just basically like a very quick thing, video or something, call to action, arrows, opt in, because that's what you're wanting them to do. And so if you can have as little friction as possible, as little of confusion that a new person would see going into your website, then your opt-in rates in general will be higher. That will hopefully make your solo ad succeed.
Yeah, that's great. Well, great tips on solo ads, man. I appreciate that education, learning more about solo ads. Like I said, I just dabbled with it because I dabble in everything. I dabble in everything to get a little read and to get some actual experience, so I can say, yeah, I've tried that. Yeah, I've had this experience with it. I think it's good to at least try a new opportunity, or not a new opportunity, but a new traffic source, a new way to bring people to your offers or your website or your funnel. So I always like to try those things to see how they're going to work out. And I totally agree. I think people are making great money with solo ads, and it's really just a matter of finding the right mix of, offer, headline, opt-in, and to get people in. So
It's like anything,
awesome.
you know, there's so many different ways you can do it. And what do you want to focus on? What do you resonate with? And this is one strategy. It's, you want to know kind of about everything that's going on, but you can't go all in on Facebook and all in on solos, all in on YouTube. You really kind of have to pick one, or look at a few, see what kind of is out there, and then if you, on your gut feeling, which one do you think you kind of would like to work on, then do your best to go through it. But there's not an issue with traffic on the internet. I mean, traffic is everywhere. It's
Yep.
really an issue of what is it you're selling, who are you targeting, the message. But if someone's listening and saying, gosh, it's hard to get traffic on the internet, it's not. It really isn't. Once you get into it, now it may be something that you're not necessarily familiar with, but I can tell you, once you get going, it's not a question of can you get traffic. That's kind of, in a sense, secondary. It's more of, again, where do you want to get your traffic from and why? What are your reasons why? And then move forward, test, and continue on.
Exactly. Well, I think, and I hope our viewers learned a little bit about solo ads today. I'm going to wrap this up. Do you have any other last thoughts about it?
Yeah, just look into it. And again, we keep talking about different strategies, and we're going to continue to do so. And this is one of those strategies, and you never know, we might bring it up again. But as we continue here, you're gonna see all kinds of strategies. So check it out, and check out other things that we're going to bring to you.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, everybody, for joining us at the Entrepreneur Dojo, where we're going to train you and teach you in the skills to fight for your goals, your dreams, fight for your family. That's what we're here for. And so go ahead, if you like this content, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, so that as we come on board live, you know to watch us at that point. So thank you, everyone, for joining us, and we will see you again. Be sure to comment and let us know what you thought as well. We'll see you.
See ya.